coming to you for Daily Grind number 8, wherein I am trying quite so hard to get 30, well, I'd like to have more than 34, but at least 34 levels so I can finally repair my awesome pick of awesomeness. It's probably not even worth it, but I mean, it's a known quantity right now, so I kind of want it. At the same time, this will eventually be Caffeine's Road. So, you know, fill it in with what little I've got. Ooh, please, please, please. 32. If there's magma that comes out of here, I'll be something or other. So, I thought I would talk a little bit about ufology today. I realize it's a strange topic. That makes it interesting. I've actually been on about this before, but I thought I'd recap because I actually, for some bizarre reason, on LinkedIn, of all places, I ended up in a discussion about this. I think this is the right way. I have to watch out. My good bow is gone. Can no longer trust anything. Ooh. I'm not sure. This might be Caffeine's territory at this point, but since I'm giving her all the quartz anyways, should be alright. So, yeah, people have been discussing the plausibility, like the term Occam's razor frequently applies here. But it's kind of a tough one because, well, if you're not familiar, Occam's razor is the postulate, the postulate that basically the simplest answer must be the right one. And that's generally a safe thing to say. The thing is, there are circumstances in ufology that are actually simpler than the if you wanted to say it wasn't aliens, you'd have the explanations that are non-alien are that much harder. Oh, this is working out really well. Cool. Look at that, 33. 33, folks. Aren't you excited? Anyways, there's like, this guy was talking about. Let me shore this up a little bit. Whoops, crap, that was unintentional, but okay. Oh, ran out. Okay, well, let me do this one. Blink. Oops. Why are those separate, anyways? 63. So what am I getting in it? I was trying to suggest that not all. Oh, look at that moon. You can't see it, but there's a dark pumpkin orange moon right on the horizon. It's only probably just come up. That's cool. Too bad you can't see it. Haha. So, it's weird because we're all sort of in this little debate. We're sort of talking past each other, and the people who think they're defending ufology are in fact not, or think the other ones aren't, and I don't know, it's weird, but they're basically saying it was preposterous to suggest that various, like secret aircraft and stuff are the explanation for UFOs. And the thing is, yeah, they are a good explanation. That not for all, because there are some that have completely defy explanation, including some I've seen, or two of the same thing, to be fair, that I've seen. On different occasions, about 6 months apart, and maybe I'll relate that to you guys. No, I already did in a previous episode. I told you guys about this. You can go watch that. But oh, jeez, thinking and doing things don't work. Oh no, I am out forever. I will never have another pick again. Oh, but look at that. I have 34 levels. How do I get up? Okay. And, it's not a fair thing to say that. I mean, people really do screw up their sites. I drove out to Colorado a few years back. In fact, this was where I went, actually, for a MUFON trip, which is interesting. If you were at all familiar with ufology, MUFON should be in your scope of awareness. Regardless, this guy was suggesting people couldn't possibly misconstrue rocket launches, Cat, not right now, and flying aircraft, like planes and jets and even secret jets. People know what those look like. Well, I know what friggin' Venus looks like, and yet when I when I drove out to Colorado, I come from a place that has hills and trees, and so they give you very foreground perception, and it's easier to judge distances. Things that's obviously behind that and moving at a rate and such that okay, that's actually very far away. That's Venus, being as amazingly bright as it is. Well, the only thing left is Venus. But out there, where there are no trees and it's very flat, that distinction disappeared greatly. It really did. Let's do this. 34. I only get that little much. Let me see with one of hers what happens. Too expensive, really? Now what? 36. That's a good leap, though. Oh, that's tough. Okay, well, I'm going to give her thing back. Should I take anything else? She said I could, but I don't know that there's anything else here I want. She's going to use lots of quartz, so I want her to have that. I did make all these leads, so I'll take half of them. Coal. Ooh, that's a lot of coal. I really don't have use for saddle. Okay. Well, anyways, given the lack of perspective out there, even though I knew beforehand that it was Venus, it was still very easy to... It felt like it was close. It felt like it was maybe 400 or 500 feet above the ground and maybe 2 miles away. And when it felt so close by, the fact that it stayed in the same position in the sky as you drove gave you the impression that it was following you. It was keeping pace. And because it was so consistent, it wasn't just moving, it was keeping pace with you. You were being followed. And you get a lot of UFO reports that are exactly like that. A bright light follows them across the landscape. Not a bit surprised. Now that I've had that experience, now not a bit of a surprise that people would miss... Whoa! 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 Can I even try this? No, you're gonna... No. Before he destroys the landscape. No, leave me alone. Oh. Man. Let me get some of this. Oh, it's so much nicer. Sorry for the interruption. Let me leave that in its place. Okay. So yeah, so if I can miss up or misconstrue Venus, other people can misconstrue airplanes and rocket launches and stuff like that. Absolutely can, within the realm of feasibility. But the green things I saw are bizarrely consistent. They're one of the first one I saw moved behind a structure, a thunderhead that was on radar, and literally you could see, oh, that's 20-something miles to the north. There's no mistaking what that is, and this thing moved behind it. And yet it went from directly overhead in the sky to behind that storm in about 3 to 4 seconds. So that entire distance, from 20 miles away from overhead, meant it probably, at the very least, went 20 miles. But probably, more like 30. Or if it came from, let's say the edge of the sky, the edge of the atmosphere and came down at an angle, you're talking 100 miles or more. There's no even guarantee that it fell directly behind the storm. It could have been even that much further away. I mean, if it had gone from directly above to hitting the horizon, you're talking hundreds of miles. And it did this in a few seconds, like 3 seconds, which is way faster than conventional aircraft. It's way faster than flares, which that people try to compare this stuff to. But it is way slower than a meteorite. And it also didn't have this general characteristics of a meteorite. It wasn't a streak, and it didn't have a tail. It didn't, that one in Russia left a trail, and wasn't green, by the way. So it was a streak and a trail, and it made a sounding and caused a boom. So, those are all pretty important features that were missing from this thing. Okay, so it fell in, you do the trigonometry, the thing was moving at anywhere from thousands of miles an hour to thousands of miles an hour, depending high and low, you know what I mean? And did it soundlessly. So it could, a jet wouldn't have been able to do that soundlessly, that we know of anyways. But so it's a very good, because the event had metrics that could be measured, as opposed to, I saw something. It was a very qualitative sighting that helps actually make it more solid as far as a UFO report is. Regardless of its origin, it was a UFO. It defies explanation, and it appeared more than once. About 6 months later, at night this time instead of broad daylight. Same place in the sky, same place on the horizon at the same speed. Again, every other characteristic the same. So, it's a great. There was no structure, there was no saucer, there was no cigar-shaped whatever. It was just a blazingly bright light that did not obey the characteristics of any known thing, and did it more than once. And actually, way more than once, because I saw it twice. However, the whole town was reporting seeing this, supposedly for months that year, 1995, by the way. Lots and lots and lots of sightings of green lights. And other things, actually pie-shaped or wedge-shaped black things that were supposedly noisy, which contradicts any other report of noisy, or any other report of dark wedge-shaped things. So, if it was human origin, it's interesting enough, just as it is. It says that we have something that is not known by anyone in the public, which is also kind of interesting. But, in any case, the thing that really gets me, and I've been over this before, so this is sort of a recap, I'm sorry to say, is the early abduction reports. And I realize this is a more controversial area of ufology, but from the mid-40s to the mid-60s, and actually beyond, but in that period, people were reporting being taken aboard ships and had nasty things performed to them, and such like that, before there was any public discussion of the topic. There were flying saucers as early as like the 40s and 50s, but nothing about abductions. And so when it first started happening, at first it was such a horror. The subject was so strange and bizarre that the doctors who were receiving these reports did not discuss them because they were afraid of losing their jobs and such like that. So it was decades before it really came out. So you had literally decades, 20 to 30 years of reports made by people before the media got their hands on it, before it started showing up in movies and becoming almost a pop culture icon kind of thing. This was happening before that. And yet, if you want to make the argument, it's mass hallucination, or it's these people's active imaginations, or something like that, there's a problem with that, in that those kind of things can happen, but they're based on, when they do happen, there is a common cause. There's something they had all watched, or some common basis in their culture that is the origin of this. And because there are cultural biases, like the sleep paralysis thing is very real. Where you sort of wake up before your body does, and you feel paralyzed, and and such like that. And it's very, very commonly associated with ufology stuff, even though they're separate phenomena. People will, that will happen to them, and they'll get confused because sometimes people do see things at the same time, which basically their dream is carrying over into the waking state, and that's a perfectly reasonable explanation for what's going on. But when you actually get into and study the topic, you find out. Hold on. I like that. I like that a lot. You find out there's a strong cultural bias to it. Everybody experiences it, but everybody in different cultures experiences it differently. Like, I believe in Japan, there's like folklore that ends up, and you have this old, like, haggard woman, old hag woman, who carries a lantern on a stick and sits on them or something like that. And then, like, you go back to medieval cultures, you have like the succubus stuff. They all have an element where the chest is being compressed, like they're being sat on or something like that. Oh, cool. But different cultures express it in their, shared sort of imagination differently. But the abduction phenomena is not different from culture. And then, like I said, if it were a dream state kind of thing, each person would have a different take that is then magnified by their cultural biases. So the fact that the abduction stuff does not vary from person to person, and it does not vary from culture to culture, and yet there are thousands of them going back to a period when many of the cultures that were experiencing it were enemies and did not, interact with one another much, and nobody was talking about the topic, so nobody knew. The media had not had a chance to pick up on it. All of these things add up to this realization that this core nugget of information, while not yet explained, has a very real foundation. Something real caused it. And that's where you bring Occam's razor into it and say, well, the simplest explanation is all of these people really experienced this. And we don't know what to call it, but any other explanation requires you to do more explaining rather than less. Ooh, hello. Hello. How you doing? Oh, can I leash you? Are you leashable? Bear with me, I don't know how to use leashes. Oh, that's still in my inventory. Okay. I just, click on him, right? Okay, you're not leashable. If I trap you, will you disappear? Dude, come down here. Come on. Come on. I guess that topic is good enough. That was the gist of what I wanted to get at anyways, was, skepticism is really important for the topic, but there are some core nuggets to it that resist easy explanation. And especially actually are supported by Occam's razor rather than denied by it. So that's one of the reasons why I'm still interested in the topic, beyond which I actually just generally don't believe anything people say anymore, because it is so now over-mediated. It's become, like I said, a pop culture thing. You can't trust what people say anymore because they have so many sources from which to base their imaginations and making things up, and somewhat callous about that, but there you have it. There you have it. So that's about it. That's my topic for now. Actually, I don't want to. Well, no, it's all biologicals in here, isn't it? Put these away. Well, this tower, I don't know if it's going to maintain this design. I have a theme I want to figure out first. I know what I want it to be, I just haven't made it work yet. And then I want all my constructions to reflect that. So this may actually get adjusted to suit either that, or this might be like something else that's just cohabitates. Ooh, there you are. Come on, little guy. Oh. Sorry. I'm gonna have to use this stuff. Brrr. Okay, that's some more sticks than I wanted, but who cares? What I need is this stuff. No. Stay. Where are you going? Go this way. This way. No! Go back. Go back. Excellent. Ooh. Careful not to... Oh, okay. Whew. Let me yank this one out of the corner. And this one... Oh, no, stay. Stay. There. Good enough. Now, will you despawn on me? Or can I count on your sticking around? Actually, he can walk past here, can't he? Yeah, he can. Back off. Back off, little guy. Ugh. Well, if I remove this in the corner, then it won't be a non-issue. Oh! Oh, dang. He was injured. He was really injured. Okay. Never mind. That probably means the guys on the other side of the portal now hate me, though. Oh, well. Dang it. Alright. Thanks for watching. Please come again tomorrow. Good night.